Falcons winning the Major was supposed to be the ultimate validation of a billion-dollar project. On paper, it was the perfect result of star power, infinite financial backing, and the most decorated coaching staff in Counter-Strike history. But if you actually watched their journey leading up to that trophy, it didn't feel like an era-defining victory. It felt more like a miracle rescue mission. For months, this roster was the definition of an expensive disappointment. Despite assembling what looked like a legendary Tier 1 lineup, they were bleeding out in the server when it mattered most. They would breeze through groups, build massive hype, and then completely fall apart the exact moment they stepped onto the big stage, consistently failing to close out the grand finals of major tournaments. It was highly frustrating to watch because from a purely statistical standpoint, the team should have been dominating. But the eye test told a completely different story. In the server, Falcons looked entirely out of sync. Their tactical depth looked completely gone, their identity was completely missing, and the atmosphere inside the team looked visibly tense. Something fundamental was blocking this team from reaching its true ceiling. For the longest time, the community and the analysts pointed the finger at one specific man, Zonic. We looked at his legendary history with Astralis and Vitality, looked at how Falcons were currently playing, and assumed he had simply become washed. It felt like his rigid, structured approach to the game had grown completely outdated in the fast, chaotic meta of Counter-Strike 2. But that narrative was completely wrong. The real issue wasn't the coaching, it was a deep structural mismatch in leadership. And to understand what actually fixed Falcons, we have to talk about Kyousuke. Now, let's be absolutely clear, this is not a diss track on Kyousuke. He is definitely a highly competent, mechanically gifted in-game leader. But he was the wrong leader for this specific ecosystem. Kyousuke's calling style is tailor-made for a developmental project. He thrives when he is leading a young team filled with fresh, hungry prospects who need micromanagement and a highly rigid framework to succeed. That's exactly why his recent roster move to Aurora makes perfect sense, and it's a project you should definitely keep your eyes on. But when you throw that micromanaging style into a room full of established world-class veterans who already know how to play the game at the highest level, it completely destroys the roster. Kyousuke's structured system accidentally placed massive mental handcuffs on his most explosive pieces, creating a highly predictable mechanical system that Tier 1 opponents easily read and punished. And the biggest victim of this tactical prison was Kyousuke. Before joining Falcons, Kyousuke built his reputation on pure, raw dynamic play. He is a player who naturally thrives on activity, aggressive map movement, taking high-risk duels, and instantly punishing gaps in the enemy defensive line. He is the definition of a high-impact space creator. But under the old system, he wasn't playing his brand of Counter-Strike at all. He was forced into rigid passive defaults, anchoring sites, and waiting for execution calls that came way too late. By forcing a highly dynamic, aggressive star into a static role just to fit a pre-made system, management completely neutralized his primary weapon. His confidence dropped, his rhythm disappeared, and Falcons lost their crucial X-factor. And that's exactly why everything changed the moment Karrigan arrived. When Falcons secured Karrigan from the collapsing FaZe Clan ecosystem, they didn't just sign a legendary strategic mastermind. They bought the ultimate player activator. Karrigan saw the writing on the wall. He instantly realized that this team didn't need more structure or more practicing tactics. They needed to be set free. Karrigan's absolute greatest superpower as a leader is his unique ability to evaluate a roster, look at each player's natural instinct, and rebuild the entire tactical meta around making those individuals comfortable. The very first thing Karrigan did was smash the mental handcuffs of Kyousuke. He told him to stop waiting, stop anchoring passively, and start hunting for heads again. But Karrigan didn't just activate Kyousuke. His arrival triggered a massive chain reaction that completely healed the mental problems holding back this entire roster. For years, the single biggest storyline hanging over modern Counter-Strike was NiKo and his tragic, cursed hunt for a major trophy. We all remember the heartbreaking near misses, the devastating final losses, and the painful narrative that the greatest poor rifler to ever touch the game might retire without the one title that truly matters. The pressure on NiKo's shoulders was immense, and it was visibly crushing him during those previous failed grand finals. But when Karrigan took the wheel, he took that strategic burden entirely, allowing NiKo to stop overthinking and start simply destroying everyone in his path. The synergy between Karrigan's aggressive mid-round calling and NiKo's unmatched entry fragging power re-established a deadly duo that the world wasn't ready to face. When the final round collapsed and Falcons finally won the major, the reaction wasn't just corporate celebration. It was pure, unfiltered emotional release.
A little bit back, Kyousuke got to Kyousuke! On the precipice of long-awaited glory! This day is theirs! This day is his!
10 years! In the 17th time of asking, NiKo has his major!
Seeing NiKo finally lift his first ever major trophy sent shockwaves through the entire global esports community. Even their biggest critics couldn't help but feel a massive sense of collective joy. The curse was finally broken and the narrative of the chokers was permanently removed from the history books. The results were immediate, undeniable and utterly terrifying for the rest of the competition. The moment Kyousuke was allowed to play his natural, fast-paced game, he transformed into an absolute monster. During the major playoffs, he wasn't just playing well, he was consistently the highest rated, most impactful player on the server, completely taking over games and breaking the spirit of opposition defenses. Karrigan didn't just fix the tactics, he completely restored the team's broken spirit. He brought the emotional intensity, the absolute confidence and the clutch factor that Falcons had been missing for over a year. And that is the real reason why Falcons won the major. It wasn't the infinite budget, it wasn't a tactical revolution from the coaching staff, but it was a masterclass in psychological and mechanical activation by the greatest leader in the game. What do you guys think? Is this the start of a brand new Falcons era under Karrigan, or was this major run a one-time peak? And how do you think Kyousuke will do leading the new Aurora project? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more CS2 esports content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Your Intel Extreme Masters! Your Cologne Major champions! It's all theirs! Falcons!
I think I am a prime example to never give up, okay? Never give up on your dreams, never give up on your life, okay? Keep believing, okay? You're gonna achieve the things. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be painful, but you will get it. You will fucking get it.